Today we're going to be rating each driver on the current Formula 1 grid on how hard their signature is to get.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. My name is Grim, and today we're going to be talking about every single Formula 1 driver on the current Formula 1 grid, and we're going to rate it between 1 to 5 on how hard their signature is to get. Now, 1 being easy, 5 being most difficult, right? So it's just probably easier just to scale it on 1 to 5. Now, people are going to ask, how do you know how to get signatures, and why should we trust you? Well, I've been collecting signatures since 2014, and I've pretty much got every single driver you guys can think of to sign memorabilia. In the sense where I can pretty much get any driver that you guys can think of on the current Formula 1 grid, and even in the past, to sign something. So that sort of makes sense, right? I think I made sense. Alright, so let's just get straight to the video. Now, we're going to start with Williams, Alex Albon, and Logan Sargent. Now, Alex Albon, actually, disclaimer first. Be happy with whatever signature you guys get if you guys go to a Formula 1 event, because all those people there, only a select few can get signatures from drivers. Not everyone can be an expert at chasing driver signatures. Second of all, I don't sell products. I'm not into the selling thing. And third thing is, every year prepare that no driver is easy to get. So, I'm going to start with Williams. Alex Albon. Now, Alex Albon, let me start off by saying the lower teams are easier to get their driver signatures. When you get to teams like Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, for example, they get a bit harder to get. But we're starting for Williams and Alex Albon. And out of 5, I'd give Albon a 2 out of 5. Now, he's got a bit of F1 experience, but I've never really found him hard to get. And even during the 2020 pandemic, he signed a mini helmet for me where they were like really strict on signing signatures. So Alex Albon stops, and I'd give him a 2 out of 5, and he's, you know, on the easier side to get. Logan Sargent, had no problem with him. I'd give him a 1 out of 5. He would sign everything because he's a rookie, and I guess he likes the attention at the moment. Now, moving on to AlphaTauri, Yuki Tsunoda and Nick De Vries. Nick De Vries was actually really, really easy to get. Not a lot of people wanted him. His signature wasn't high in demand, so I give him a 1 out of 5. Now, obviously, they got Daniel Ricciardo now, and how is Ricciardo? Well, at the Australian Grand Prix, he signs everyone, so I'd give him a 1 out of 5. He's super easy to get. Yuki Tsunoda, I would give him a actual 3 out of 5. Yuki's actually pretty difficult to get. If you guys see my intro, my video intro, he actually skips a lot of people and signs the mini helmet that I present to him. So Yuki's actually more on the difficult side, surprisingly. I give him a 3 out of 5. He tends to sign a few people and then try and skip a lot of people. So Yuki's a bit of a funny one. Moving on to Haas, Kevin Magnussen. Kevin is actually pretty difficult to get. I'd rate him a 3 out of 5. Now, Kevin, he doesn't really like to tend to sign in the mornings. Well, this is like Australian Grand Prix experience. Doesn't like to sign in the morning. He signs more at night time. So if you guys really want a Kevin signature, you're going to have to wait till night time. But when he does sign a lot of people. So it's actually, he's more difficult to get. But yeah, and even with experience, I thought that, I'd rate him a 3 out of 5. Nico Hulkenberg, I'd give him a 2 out of 5. Actually, no, I'd give Nico Hulkenberg a 3 out of 5 because this year in particular as well, he was pretty difficult to get because he'd go through the back way. And then when he would come through, you probably can get his signature pretty easy. But you'd need to know where to stand for Nico Hulkenberg. And this year, he was more on the difficult side. In previous years, I'd probably give him a 2 out of 5 or maybe even still a 3 out of 5. But this year, definitely a 3 out of 5. He literally was going through the back way or back entrance the whole weekend. Aston Martin, Lance Stroll. Now, Lance is actually, I'd give him a 4 out of 5. Lance is actually pretty difficult to get. Probably only see him like once throughout the whole weekend. Once you've got him, he's pretty easy. He'll sign. He doesn't really say no. And we're going to be rating him on this year's performance. So Lance was a bit more on the difficult side. I need to get a few photos signed from Lance. And Lance obviously signed him. I got him signed. But yeah, he's really hard to try and catch up with and figure out where he's going to be because Lance tends like to sort of stay away from the crowds. Fernando Alonso this year. Now, Fernando Alonso, I'm going to give him a solid 5 out of 5. Fernando is very, very difficult to get, guys. Now, 2021, didn't walk through the paddock at all. 2022, I ended up getting him on a helmet, but he wasn't signing anything. He wasn't in a good mood this year. He broke up with his girlfriend, which we ended up finding out the end of the Australian Grand Prix weekend. That's why he probably had the shits. I got him a couple times this year in Australia, but yeah, he is really, really difficult to get. So people that have an Alonso signature, I'm sure he's probably good in Spain and stuff, but yeah, this year the Australian Grand Prix, super, super difficult. So definitely a 5 out of 5 for Fernando. Alfa Romeo, Valtteri Bottas. This year, Bottas was pretty good. I'd give him a 2 out of 5. Like, you can get him. You got to sort of know where he is, but you can definitely get Bottas. Previous years with Mercedes, I'd probably get him a 4 out of 5. He was actually really, really hard when he was back at Mercedes. But now that he's joined a more mid-tier team, he's gotten a lot easier. Zhou Guanyu, he's pretty chill. I give him a 2 out of 5. You just sort of know where to get him and sort of figure out, like, you need to, like, he does sort of a lot of disguising with the outfits he wears, but you can get him. He will sign if you get him one-on-one. Moving on to McLaren, Lando Norris. Lando is actually super, super cool, super easy to get a signature, super nice. I'd give him a 2 out of 5. I could probably give him a 1 out of 5, but a 2 just because he's with McLaren. But once Lando is there, he signs everybody. He signs everything. Super, super cool. And the reason he gets the extra point from a 1 is because he's driving for McLaren. So Lando Norris is really, really easy to get if you guys want to try and get Lando's signature. Oscar Piastri, I'd rate him a 2 out of 5. He was not difficult, but he didn't really come out much and interact with the crowd too much. But once he was out, he would sign a lot of people. So yeah, but Oscar Piastri was pretty chilled and pretty easy to get. Alpine's Esteban Ocon. Ocon's really good with the crowd. He comes out and signs. I give him a 2 out of 5. He's not like the easiest guy to get in the sense of compared to other drivers, but Ocon will sign a lot of fans' signatures, and yeah, he will stop and sign signatures for sure. Pierre Gasly, another good driver. He signs everybody that is sort of there. He's really good. I rate him a 2 out of 5 as well. Moving on to Ferrari, Charles Leclerc. I would rate him a 3 out of 5, but once you have Charles Leclerc around, Charles definitely signs so many people. Like, he will spend a lot of time signing his signature. His signature is really long as well, and he stays around and signs for the crowd. So Charles Leclerc, a 3 out of 5 because of the whole Ferrari thing. But once he's out with the crowd, Charles signs everybody. Really reminds me of Sebastian Vettel, who used to sign so many people as well, even though he was a 4-time champion. Moving on to Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz also signs a lot of signatures. I'd give him a 3 out of 5 as well because of the whole Ferrari thing. But if you get Carlos Sainz one-on-one, he will sign a lot of signatures himself too. Never had a problem with Carlos. Moving on to Red Bull. Sergio Perez is more on the difficult side. I'd rate him a probably, now that he's at Red Bull, this year, from experience, I'd probably rate him a 4 out of 5. A few people missed out on Checo. He'd skip a lot of people, but if you can, I got him a couple times. I even got him for a few people that wanted him. So he signed a few helmets for a few people that were around. But in the sense of just, if you're just going there normally to try and meet Checo, he's actually more on the difficult side to meet and get a signature from. Now that he's at Red Bull, I don't know, because he had a really bad weekend too, so that could have played a part of it. But yeah, I'd rate him a 4 out of 5. His teammate, Max Verstappen. Now, let me tell you a funny story about Max. Max, when he first joined Toro Rosso, not high demand at all. He would sign a lot of people, and not a lot of people cared. Yeah, they cared because he was young, but he wasn't really high in demand. Now that Max is a 2-time world champion, about to become a 3-time champ, super high in demand, and Max is really, really quick with his signature too. Max will come out probably 1 out of the 4 days, and then he'll go through the back. I managed to see him a few times, Max. I got all my stuff signed by Max. And yeah, but Max, I'd probably rate now these days a 4 out of 5. He is super hard to get, not impossible, but you can get him. The next driver on the list is, of course, George Russell. Now, George Russell, I rate him a 3 out of 5. Now there's at Mercedes. Once George is out, he does sign a lot of people. He does tend to walk past crowds, and if there's too many people, and just wave and not sign signatures, but you can still get him. But yeah, 3 out of 5 for George Russell, but he's not impossible to get. And of course, to me, this guy is the hardest driver to get ever since 2020, the pandemic. Mercedes driver Lewis Hamilton, our 7-time Formula 1 world champion. I'd give him a solid 5 out of 5 in difficulty to get Hamilton. It took me, I was trying to get Lewis from 2020 all the way up to 2023. I was lucky enough to get 6 items signed by Lewis, plus a few other little things because of the situation. We ended up getting Lewis to sign stuff. But yeah, Lewis Hamilton is by far the hardest driver to get a signature from in the current Formula 1 grid, especially with experience this year. He was super hard going through the back entrances and stuff like that. But I was lucky enough to get Lewis this year 6 times on mini helmets. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get these signatures. But definitely Lewis Hamilton is the hardest signature you guys can get. Sometimes they won't even come out throughout weekends. I see people if you see people with a Lewis Hamilton signature throughout the weekend, they're pretty experienced and they know what they're doing, because Lewis doesn't tend to go where the normal people are. He did one of the days in Australia, but yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't actually that, so I was on another entrance, and he didn't go that entrance that day. So when Lewis is out, he'll be really, really quick. His signature might not even be clean. He might do a scribble, which I can do a video of the different types of signatures Lewis Hamilton has done. I've received all 3 of them. But Lewis normally has 3 different signatures he will do. He's got the clean version, which is his normal signature, plus 2 other quick rushed ones. So yeah, Lewis is a bit of a funny one, but yeah, very, very hard to get his signature. Alright guys, so hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, hit the like button. Comment down below if you guys have any of these driver signatures. Thank you guys for all the support. Thank you guys for all the messages, especially on the Facebook stuff. I appreciate all of you. If you guys want to buy helmets, link down below. That's the place I use, DRM. Shout out to them. I also like to use eBay UK if you're looking for more rarer helmets and stuff. For example, a Villeneuve 2002. I got mine off eBay. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll see you guys in my next Formula 1 video. Thank you.